Yeah, absolutely excited to have Harlee and Josh. You would know them as new Constellations. Guys, how have things been going for you?
They've been going more amazing than we could have imagined, really.
Obviously, you guys are putting out some new music after it feels like a little bit of a break, right? Well, maybe not, maybe like a year or so. And you're kind of putting out a new album here in like a month or so.
Yeah, this is actually our first album. We have just only released like a single or two singles a year for the last 5 years. And this is our first like big body of work that we're putting out.
Yeah, and how it comes out in May, I believe. How are you guys kind of feeling about it? I'm sure it's all finished up already and kind of ready to roll. How does it feel to kind of just be like sitting on it? And yeah, how has that whole process been for you?
Um, the recording of it was great. We're both really, really proud of the record. It does feel weird having it be done, and it's been done for months now and just like wanting people to hear it, but with a sort of release schedule and things like that. But I think that's important because, we have some special songs on there that we really wanted to give their own moment. So that's kind of the best way to do it is release them as singles, give each one of them a moment in time. But we're excited for the record to come out. We spent a lot of time sequencing it. So, you know, the singles we believe are great songs, but we think that they definitely hit a little harder when you've taken the journey to get to them too.
Yeah. Did you guys approach the album? It feels like, with you kind of like you talked about release schedules, like music nowadays, like it's single after single after single. And then like, feels like by the time the album comes out, you've listened to like half the album. And then,
Totally.
if it's kind of weird at times, is the album kind of one that you think will be a more cohesive listen once people listen, front to back kind of deal? Or, is it each song kind of standing on its own?
I mean, they do stand on their own for sure, but it's definitely a one cohesive listen. I feel like that we do a good job of kind of like dancing in other realms, but like always having this one tether between. Yeah.
Um, is it, I guess I usually, maybe a little ahead of myself here. Let's go all the way back when you guys, grew up, right? I always love asking, what kind of music were your parents listening to? Like, what got you into music, maybe from them? And then, when you kind of found your own ear, like every kid kind of goes through that phase where they're like, enough of my parents' stuff. I got to listen to my own thing. What'd you kind of find then?
All right.
Harley and my moms are both huge Prince fans,
Mhm.
like massive Prince fans.
Amazing.
So we both grew up listening to a lot of Prince.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like there's definitely some influence on that. My mom loved Madonna, so, I sat in the back of the car listening to a lot of Prince and Madonna, um, which to this day are some of my favorite artists too.
My family was this is kind of a stark contrast. Like my mom loved Prince. We didn't listen to Prince a ton because we were a very religious family. We listened to a lot of Christian music. My mom,
Yeah.
it was an interesting dynamic because we can't have the kids
Yeah.
hear this.
Right.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that yeah, pull a ton of inspiration from that, but I do
Yeah.
sing in a lot of like hopeful ways, which might have been some kind like from that too.
Sure. When you kind of broke off, right? What music did you start to listen to? Like my parents listened to country music growing up, and then I went into like my own like punk rock, your metal kind of phase. I feel like because most kids end up doing, in your teen years, what was driving, you around.
Let them know, Josh.
Well, I think my first real breakaway, like in middle school, was a lot of like kind of like new metal, like rap rock stuff,
Yeah.
like Limp Bizkit or Papa
Yeah.
Roach. That
Sure.
that stuff was all huge for me. And then I started getting into like, yeah, more like punk, kind of heavier music. In my teenage years, was really into like emo and screamo stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, that was a big, big influence on me. But I remember Harlan and I went to the same church, and one night there was like these older boys at the church like had a band and they did like Good Charlotte covers. And so Good Charlotte was the band that like made me want to be in a band. Like
Yeah.
finding them and seeing those guys cover new, and I was like, oh man, I wanted to like play
Yeah.
band. That
Yeah.
seems the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, when Josh and I were in high school together, I have like such vivid memories of us like jamming to My Chemical Romance and The Used and stuff like that. But before that, I was pretty basic, like watching the Disney Channel and listening to like Hillary Duff and stuff. She's having her revival right now, and I'm like, hell
she's
yeah,
on the
girl.
revival tour.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah.
Harlee literally called me the other day and was like, "Did you hear the new Hillary Duff song?"
Yeah, like when I heard she was going on a new album, I'm like, we are really just throwing it back, and I'm
throwing it back
for it. Yeah, it's funny. I went through My Chemical Romance phase. Like I feel like I didn't realize how much emo music I listened to until like years later, and everybody's like, "This is emo music." I'm like, I know every word to all of these songs. I'm very confused. So I guess I'd be remiss not to talk. Like, you guys had a song kind of go viral, whatever, however you want to phrase it. What was that whole experience like for you, and when did you kind of first realize Hot Blooded was kind of having a moment, and what is that, how does that kind of sit now with you guys?
What's interesting about Hot Blooded is that it's been a really slow burn. And so it wasn't, I mean, obviously we're paying attention. We noticed it when it happened, but there was never like really one big moment.
Yeah.
It's like when you haven't got a haircut in a while, and then you look at a photo of yourself and you're like, oh, whoa, my hair's gotten long. But you don't notice that it got long because you're there every day. Hot Blooded is kind of like that. Like, there was never one moment where it's like we woke up and it was like, oh, it's going crazy. Right. Like, it's just been like every single, and for the last 5 years, every single day is its biggest streaming day. And it's just been steady. So there was never really like one big massive moment. It's more of a like when we reflect back and go like, oh, holy shit, compared to last year, it's doing twice as much or whatever. So it's been this really cool, steady, slow burn. And it's been really awesome to like, it's like a present we get to open every single day still.
Yeah. And it's always like interesting. I hear it like referred to as viral because like, for us, there never was like, oh my gosh, this is everywhere right now. But we like recently got like the actual stats on like the UGC, and it was like, it's been made into like over like 500 million reels, and we were like,
Same.
oh my god, that is viral. Like, who knows? Like, it's like it doesn't come up for me on my page, and so yeah, it's really surreal, and really a dream come true. Everyone, like, it's such an interesting thing because that song's been out for 5 years, and so all these like haters will come online and be like one hit wonders and shit like that, and we're like, honestly, we're just so happy that we wrote even one song that's resonating with hundreds of millions of people. Like, call me a one hit wonder, I do not care.
Right. And like, I mean, yeah, to do that in like a day and age like this, and you guys have only been putting out music for 5 years, right? Like, roughly, give or take. Like,
yeah,
I feel like that's such a hot take for a group that's only been around for so long. Like, it's easy to look back on the 90s and do that, right? Like, these bands have had 30 plus years to find other hits, but to do that with a group that's only been around 5 years feels very overstated.
And it was it was the first song we put out too, so
right,
it's we can't be punished for making a good song first.
Were there ever any comments of like, it feels like too when an artist puts a song out and it does really well fast, it's like the industry plan thing. Did you guys ever hear any of that?
Not at all, because it's taken forever.
Right.
It's been a very long time.
If we were industry plants, we'd be the worst industry plants ever because it took 5 years to get any payback.
I mean, hey, maybe that's the best way to go about it, right? You do the incognito industry plant where people don't realize it.
Don't blow our cover, Matt.
Yeah.
We're the 37-year-old industry plants.
Hey, I feel it. Trust me, I feel it. I feel the same way. I get it. This is all new to me too. I mean, I've only been doing this like 4 years now too. So I feel it. It's a weird
crushing
space.
It.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I guess in terms of the music you guys make, it's very like the group that always comes to mind when I listen to you is like Phantogram and bands like that. What kind of music kind of inspired your sound and brought you to the kind of music you make?
Phantogram is a big one for us. Harlee and I both really love Sylvan Esso. So early in our band when we were kind of, because Harley and I come from very, very different musical backgrounds. We don't have a ton of artists in common that we both really love, um, or at least, that we would be influenced in making music. Um, so when we first started our band, the first year was just trying to figure out what we sounded like. So we were really drawn to other bands that were like similar in sort of spirit to us, like a singer and a producer, or like other duos, and kind of studying them and being like, well, what are other duos doing? How do they make their music? What's this songwriter, singer, producer relationship look like in
Yeah.
in the industry? So we were drawn to a lot of other bands like that, Sylvanesso, Fantagram. I really love bands like Portishead. That was a huge influence on me.
Yeah, and for me as a vocalist and like lyricist, I really I really find a lot of inspiration on just like what the feeling is. And like Florence the Machine will always be like this huge person to me of just like the feeling that she gives us in a show, that it's like this massive connected feeling. And I try to bring that. And also with Lana Del Rey, I love just like the deep, deep sadness. And then like the next song is like really whimsical and playful and fun. And so I really like to try to embody like the full spectrum of what the human experience is
Yeah.
in my songs. So
Yeah.
those are two big ones. And Maggie Rogers too. I fucking love her so
Of course.
much.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think there's like
Uh,
a big influence from like Gorillaz for us as well.
okay.
It just in terms
Mhm.
of like their collaboration and their ability to kind of mix and blend and experiment in different genres and sounds while still kind of maintaining a sonic identity.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
big for us. Like we, especially on this record, like we kind of run the gambit of different uh, sounds and genres and even ways we wrote the songs. But you can still tell that it's us, especially in
Yeah.
the context of the record.
Amazing. Like, is it, so I guess take me into like when you guys are, writing and producing a song, what does that collaborative process look like for you guys? And, has it kind of evolved over the 5, 6, whatever years you've been making music?
Yeah, it has really evolved. We've found a groove now. Used to be kind of all over the place. Like for instance, Hot Blooded, that song started with Harley writing it on the acoustic guitar and singing it, and it was this kind of this acoustic ballady song. And so she sent that to me, pretty fleshed out. Uh, and then, I produced it. I changed the kind of the genre and the sound of it. But the bones of the song was written by Harley on guitar. Then we had other songs where, I would make a beat and I would send it to her, and she would, in her own time kind of write stuff to it. But now we've kind of found this groove where I'll sort of start something, usually like drums and a bass line or some synth pads or something. And then we'll just press record in our studio and we'll just get a vibe going. And Harley will just freestyle sing into the microphone for just hours, and we'll just record the
Yeah.
whole thing. And we'll find the nuggets that we really love. And, by the end of the night, we'll have a pretty good idea of what the song is. Um, and then we sort of start feeding off each other there. She'll come up with a little hook or she'll sing a cool line. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. What if I did this now?" And it's like, "Oh, now that's cool. Now I'll try this over that." And
Yeah.
it starts to kind of snowball on top of each other.
Yeah. I love that.
That's
Hardly
exactly
any.
right.
Perfect. Got it.
Yeah,
Amazing.
no, I mean, yeah, like he said, we tried a lot of different things, and this is like by far like the our like way of doing it now, and it's so much fun, and I feel so grateful to feel like so safe in a space to like be able to be like, okay, I'm going through a hard time. You think we could have a studio sesh today? And I'm just like distraught, and like, let me just talk about how distraught I am, and like every fucking like this is embarrassing, and like have someone there being like, this is great, this is perfect. Let's dig into that a little more,
Right. Yeah. That's amazing. So the album is called It Comes in Waves. And what would you guys say like you talked about hitting a bunch of different, genres while still maintaining like this sonic identity. What would you say like some overarching like themes are, that you touch on in the album?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of grief, but also a lot of hope. and a lot of reflection and seeing things from multiple angles. Um, yeah, it's has some like really deeply, deeply sad stuff on there. And then also like a fucking like, here we go, it's the beginning of our lives, like anthems, you know? And
Mhm.
so it's really all over the place.
It's got a lot of like reflection and accountability and hopefulness. And I think that where it comes in waves, I think is a great title for it, is that we're dealing with a lot of, Harlee's such a personal songwriter. And so a lot of these songs or feelings or emotions are about this point in time and this feeling. And and they sway and they vary. And I think, we have sad songs, but the takeaway from that sad song is not life is sad. The takeaway from the sad songs is not you are always sad. There's kind of always this light at the end of the tunnel. And so I think It Comes in Waves is a great title because it's just saying that, like, here are a bunch of feelings and they come and they go, and when they're gone they might come back. Um, or when they're there, they might not stay forever, and that's just part of it. And so nothing's permanent, including joy and including pain, and life is learning to navigate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think something we struggle with. I feel like even more so. I think comfortably we're all millennials here. It's like this feels like inundation of shit. Sometimes it feels like it happens and navigating, end of the world event after end of the world event.
Yeah.
Can be hard sometimes. Of the songs that have been released from the album, I think my favorite is one called Dandelion. I would love to hear more about the production behind that one and what kind of went into that one.
That's kind of one of our favorites too. Um, Dandelion is an interesting song. It's taken a lot of different versions over the years. Um, and well, it's taken a lot of different versions, like instrumentally and production wise. The song itself, Harley nailed the first try,
Yeah,
like that song. So, but just over the years, we tried playing it live, and we've played it in different versions, and I was just never quite happy with how it hit. But I knew that the song was good. Like, the lyrics were great, the hooks were fantastic, and I was just like, I just feel like it's not getting the justice that it deserves. So we just like stuck with it, and every couple months we would just try to revisit it, and I would change one little thing here and there. And then um, we were having a studio day with our co-producer Cam Spees, and it was the turn to do that song, and we recorded all the vocals over like the kind of old beat. And I was just like, I'm not happy with this still. I was like, I have this like old, like this other version I was kind of toying with. Like, what if we tried to mess around with this? And so it was like end of the studio day after we'd recorded all the vocals, we kind of imported this other session, and were really inspired by it. I had different chords than I had done before. So then we spent the rest of the day like leaning into that aspect of it. And that changed a lot of it. And we were really, really happy with it. And then after that, we left it in Cam's hands for a while to just kind of put the last little finishing touches on it. And he added a couple of sort of shimmery things that really really took it past the finish line for us.
yeah,
So I think if anything, Dandelion is a case study in just not giving up on something and waiting for the magic to happen, and you can't force that.
Mhm.
yeah. Is in terms of like the album release and the single release and kind of the aspect of everything that is being an artist nowadays, do you find the social media side of life to be fun, not fun? We're doing it because we have to. How do we feel about it?
Yeah, I run all of our social medias, and I mean, it comes in waves.
Sure.
It's like I I have times where I really enjoy it. I really, really do enjoy connecting with our fans. And like getting to have that like, direct line is really,
Yeah,
really nice. It's also become kind of addicting to me. And so I'm kind of like adjusting to that in my life right now of like not needing to have this like validation like all day long, and noticing that
Yeah.
I am needing that. Like, oh, I'm going through a hard time, so I'll just check my Instagram 100 times to like get this dopamine rush, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I haven't really been on social media the last few days, and I'm just kind of taking a little moment from it. I I'm trying to find a new relationship with it because it
Yeah.
is a beautiful tool. It's a beautiful tool, and it can be taken overboard. You can take it overboard really quickly. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that piece, like the dopamine piece is really hard to like try
Mhm.
to deconstruct yourself from after you've kind of really engrossed yourself in it.
Yeah.
It's such a hard process to do, and one that I don't know if ever fully happens kind of after you've gone through it. It's like I feel like I've gone through like, detoxes of it here and there where I've tried to
Mhm.
really step away and try to slow down, but then you're back into it and it just feels like the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. And so I feel like I don't
It's a
know
real,
if it's like just continuously going in and out, being like, I'm going to not be like, I'm taking a month off and then I'm going back in. It's like I have to only get on here this many times a week, and I can only
yeah,
be on it this much time, and that's it. Like,
yeah.
like trying to figure out how to do it in doses.
Yeah, you almost have to like I found the best is like scheduling time almost in your day to like be on, and then that's it. Like try to really treat it like it's, something like a meeting or something you're going to.
Hmm.
And then it doesn't really
Yeah,
sit on you quite as heavy. But
that's smart.
so even still it's still such a hard piece to really navigate.
Yeah.
Um do you guys feel like obviously, having your song made to like 500, however many million reels has been super helpful to growth and things, but is there um have you found it otherwise to be, an enjoyable process, or you still kind of trying to find what feels natural to you?
I mean, I like making the reels. Like, it's fun, and it's just like finding the balance of what is too much. Cause like a lot of times I'm like, oh, I crushed this. This was so much fun. Or like filming different stuff and like, you did a good job and like syncing
Yeah.
stuff up. And you're like, hell yeah, this font's really working with this? And so it's
Yeah.
like, I like the creative process behind it, but it comes with a lot?
Yeah. 100%.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
one thing for me personally that's kind of cool about all the like user generated stuff
Yeah.
is that, numbers and streams are just faceless, just stats on a piece of paper. But then you
Uh-huh.
see like user generated content and it's like humanizes it a little bit. It's like, oh, this is a person that likes our song. This is a person that was affected by our music. This is a
Yeah.
person that is making this video and they're choosing our song. So that's kind of a cool aspect of it, is that it adds a bit of humanity to the like the inhumane list of just numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
so in May, release date comes, is it going to be anxiety, or is it just going to be like you're going to feel really good that it's out, and then people could, make of it what they will?
I'm gonna be so freaking excited. I feel
Yeah.
Same.
like, yeah, like we talk about this a lot. That like, well, we were in this band for 4 years before we even put out Hot Blooded. So we're at about 9 years at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like there were so many times where we didn't have what we needed to make this album, and like we have our stamp of like 100%. We had the time, the resources, the energy. Like there was nothing that was like, oh, we have to get this out, so we'll put it out half-assed. Like everything is like 100% we stand behind it. So like however it's received is great, and that's a plus. But we got to make our art the exact way that we wanted to, and that's
Yeah.
enough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What the absolute like fact is that Harlee and I made something that we are proud of. We're proud of ourselves and we're proud of each other and we're proud of the people that we collaborated with. And that's like a weird piece that I've found as an artist that I've never had in really anything in my life, to just be
Yeah.
like,
Amazing.
this is something I'm proud of, and this is something I stand behind 100%. And I hope people like it. I really do. But It's my concern is that I made something that I'm proud of with my best friend, and that I'm proud of her, and at the end of the day, like, that's all we can do is just stand behind it, you know?
Yeah.
And I really hope people like it, and I think they will, but that's not up to me. You know, what's up to me is to make something that I stand behind as an artist, and I think Harlee and I, we did that, and
Yeah.
it's a really cool feeling that I
Yeah.
haven't felt a lot in my life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it really must be like a entirely liberating feeling to, to be so sure of it that no matter how it's received, you're cool within that. Yeah, that sounds
Absolutely.
awesome. Uh,
You know,
so it,
especially like in the music industry where like everybody's got opinions about, well, if you do it
mm,
this way, it might get more streams, or if you do it
yeah,
that way, it might be more catchy, you know? And so there is an aspect of like, well, is there stuff we could have done to make it stream more? Maybe, but then
right.
I would have been less proud of it, you know? So
Totally.
so we found that middle ground of like we're proud of what it is, and any changes one way or another to make it more popular or more streamable, I think would have uh,
Mhm.
taken away the art of it for us.
Yeah. In terms of, maybe even it's one of these songs on the album that isn't out yet. What song are you most proud of?
Um, there's this song called "I'm Waiting Now" that is like, I mean, it's like I really try to, when I'm talking about things that have went wrong, like try to be reflective and see things like, some positivity, or not put the blame, or,
Yeah.
and in this song, I just went full on, like, I am devastated and I am pathetic at this point, kind of like I am just like, and this is what it is. And I don't have any part of me that feels like I need to be like, but it'll get better. It's like, no, this is how I feel right now. And that was a lot for me to like sit in that and feel comfortable, because I feel like I kind of always have this sunny demeanor and like always am like, well, try to put the positive spin on there. And so I was proud of myself as a writer in that, to sit in that. And really, really proud of Josh and the production that happened. Like this song, again, like was Josh put the guitar in my hands, and it was kind of sounding like this like Mazzy Star track, and it was really cool, and it completely changed and has become this like massive song, this very big song that I like cannot wait to like have a drummer play behind like in a live set sometime. And it's just it changed a lot, and it to me is just like, yeah, it's a really powerful, really beautiful song. And yeah, and not to give too much away, but it's right after Hot Blooded on the album, and I feel like it's, like, gonna be the perfect thing to swoop into, because, like, I think people love Hot Blooded so much because of the, like, depth, and so, yeah, I'm excited for the Hot Blooded fans to, like, to experience that and get to, like, sink into that. Yeah. Mhm.
It's like, you know, being a producer and like a co-writer and things is an interesting position to be in, especially when you're working with someone like Harlee that is such a personal and emotional songwriter. You know, it's a fine line to know like when to try to contribute and when to just get out of the way, or to when to figure out how you can contribute. And when we wrote this song, it was like, you know, Harley was going through this patch, and we got together, have to write music, but have to just be with each other as friends to like help through this time, you know? And I remember this exact moment. We were in her bedroom, and we had talked about shit. You know, we just sat and talked for a couple hours about what was going on. And then I was just like, hey, I'm just gonna like press record, and just like, here's the guitar. Let's just see what happens. And she just started strumming the guitar, and this song came out. And it was, you know, it's there've been a few little edits here and there, but for the most part, like this was kind of a one take stream of consciousness songwriting from Harlee. Like just pure flow state. Tell us how you fucking feel right now.
Yeah.
and I think it really shows.
So I live my life in music curation, so I always ask artists to like a song or a project that you've been really into recently.
I'm obsessed with Noga Eras. She is like my fucking favorite right now, and every single song is so good. And I got I wish Josh could have been there with me so badly because it was just like the best use of lights and like theatrics. And yeah, Noga Eras is a beast.
There's this band, this like Scottish indie rock band from the late 90s that I used to really love and I kind of slept on for a while that I've been really revisiting. They're called Life Without Buildings. Um, Super cool. They just have one album, but it's really awesome. And I've been just re-listening to that a ton lately.
Amazing. Obviously, I guess to kind of wrap up, you guys, what's coming up for you? You have the album coming out, but what else can we expect?
We're going on tour with the Midnight in a month and very fun. The final day of the tour is the day that the album drops in
Amazing.
LA at the Palladium. So get your tickets. It's going to be the biggest show we've ever played. It's 4,000 cap room, which is very exciting for us.
Yeah.
We have 2 more tours that we cannot announce yet. A handful of festivals coming up that we cannot announce yet. We're making 2 really awesome music videos this month for our next single, Water Slides, that comes out in like 3 weeks. And then this song called Say That You Will. I Say That You Will. Yeah, that's what it's called. That comes out on the day of the album. But that's all I got.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like there's a big year ahead of us, and we can't fully talk about all of it yet.
Sure.
But
Yeah, I get that.
it's a stay tuned for a lot of like fun announcements over the next couple months.
Amazing.
One last thing actually is we're gonna have a bunch of fun new merch coming out here soon, and also a pre-sale for our vinyl. And as you know, to the listeners, artists make so little on streaming, and so buying merch from artists is like truly like such a helpful way to like help us to continue to make music and be able to be on the road. So new merch dropping soon.
Buy the merch. Yeah, I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day, and I
Yeah.
can't wait to hear the new album. And yeah, look forward to what you guys have coming up.
Well, thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate you having
Yeah,
us.
appreciate you guys.